Hello, NPX here. Today I am going to be reviewing my all-time favorite movie, The Shawshank Redemption. Now, don't expect a really necessarily in-depth review of movies. I suppose if I really wanted to do that, I'd have to sit and think about it, and I'd probably post it on a blog as opposed to a vlog. So, basically these are going to be my basic thoughts on it. It may not even be that long, although I probably could talk a lot on this particular movie. Now, why is it regarded as one of my favorite movies? Well, first let me define what I'd say makes a movie great, at least in my eyes. A great movie has a good plot, has a plot that sucks you in, pulls you into the world. A great movie has characters that you care about, great character development that just you're emotionally invested in, and you care what happens to the characters, the main character, or maybe a number of characters. Now, in this particular film, there's, I would say, two main characters: Andy Dufresne, played by Tim Robbins, and Red, played by Morgan Freeman. And of course, Morgan Freeman, or Red, the character Red, is the narrator. And it's been commented, you can see it on TV and all over the place, that he's a great orator. He's a joy to listen to him. He could describe the most mundane thing and you would just enjoy it thoroughly. And so yeah, that adds a charm to the movie. It pulls you in. It just makes it interesting, and I think in a lot of ways it helps pull through some of the slower parts of the movie. Yes, the narration is great, and the music is great. It fits the scenes nicely. I'd say two of my favorite scenes. Well, I guess maybe one of the more obvious favorite scenes is when Andy gets out of prison, when he breaks out. When he gets, after crawling through a tube filled with, it's a sewage system, he comes out, he's in a lake, and he pulls off his shirt, and it's raining, and he puts his hands up like this, and actually, well, you basically see that kind of right there. And that's what he's doing, although in this particular shot he still has his shirt on. But, basically he's just like, I'm free, and the music builds up, and it's amazing. At that point he's been redeemed, so to speak. He's free. That scene, of course, is awesome. And, of course, it's awesome how he gets to the warden who's been running these scams. And he's been filtering it, and Andy has been filtering the money, or laundering the money, that sort of deal. And the fact that he gets at him basically is great. But the best scene, or at least my favorite scene, emotionally, it just hits me hard every time I see it, and is I would say probably the last 10 minutes of the movie. This happens. Andy is already out at this point. He's already broken out of prison, and Red finally gets out. Like, kind of the first interaction you get with Red, you see him go in before a review board, whether he can be let out or if he's going to stay in. And basically, I believe there's 3 instances of that. 2, he says pretty much the same thing, and he's rejected. And finally, when he's just like, I don't care, they approve him being released from prison. So he gets out, and he's contemplating, I think, killing himself maybe. In prison, he was a man who could do things. He could get things done. He was a man of know-how. Outside, he's nothing. He's just a used-up crook. Well, there was a character who, earlier in the film, who was old, and I would say the oldest inmate there, who was let out of prison, and he was just afraid all the time, and he was useless, and he just didn't know what to do. And sadly, he just succumbed to his depression and how he felt, and he killed himself. Well, he had no hope, and I'd say that's a big aspect of the film is hope, having hope, and despite of your circumstances, despite being in a situation of no hope. Well, the different thing with Red, when he was in that situation and contemplating what he would do, he made a promise earlier, before he and Andy had gotten out of prison, that if he had ever gotten out, he would look for Andy. Well, actually, more specifically, what he would do before that, I guess, he would go to a place called Buxton. He would go in a hayfield, and he would go under a tree and along a rock wall. He would look for a rock that didn't belong there, a glass volcanic rock. Well, in this 10 minutes, the scene, you see him walking down there. There's music playing, and it's just really good mood music. And he sits down, he kneels down, and he finds the volcanic rock, and he moves it aside. And he looks and he reads it, and he reads about hope. Well, and he gets some money to go and meet Andy at the end of the film. Well, the thing is, he's in the same situation that Brooks was. But because he made a promise, because he had hope, he didn't kill himself. He got busy living as opposed to get busy dying, which is a famous quote, basically, from the movie. And it's just amazing, and it's great, and it's when that happens, I'm sitting there reflecting on what I've seen, my life, everything. I'm totally invested. And then, of course, it's beautiful when he gets on the beach. He's gone to the place, say Wataneo, and he sees Andy. He's walking along the beach, and he sees Andy sanding a boat. And Andy looks up and sees him. And they smile at each other, and they come and hug, they embrace, and the screen pans out, and there's this big shot. You see the boat, you see the ocean, the beach, and you see them hugging. Music builds up, and then there's in loving memory of, I can't remember who it's in loving memory of, but a person who had died before the movie was released. And it's just, when that happens, and when the credits roll and everything, I just sit there and I reflect. Now, admittedly, there's also an emotional connection to this particular movie, because this movie came out in 1994. Well, my mother died in 2001. So I have seen this movie many times when she was alive. And so now when I see it, when I watch it, I reflect on the fact that I reflected on it when she was alive. And so in a way, there's a sentimental value there. So that adds to it. But before that, I love the movie, and that just adds to it. So, if you haven't seen this movie, see it. Rent it on Netflix. Rent it, see it. And maybe see it with other people. Make it an experience. I mean, yeah, you can enjoy it by yourself. Now, I would caution, yes, there's language, and there's I'd say, certain scenes that aren't so great. And this is not a movie for kids. I mean, it's a prison movie, although I would say it goes beyond being a prison movie, because I don't even think the prison has much to do with it. I mean, it plays a part, yes, but it's like the theme isn't prison or prison survival. It's hope, in despite of circumstances. So yes, I recommend that you see The Shawshank Redemption. It is an excellent movie. If you have not seen it, see it. If you have seen it, see it again. And please, if you agree with what I've said, any of what I've said, or whatever, leave comments. And please subscribe. And I welcome comments, constructive comments. And I will certainly try to improve these videos as I go along. But, well, this is NPX, and here's been my first attempt at doing a review. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully I wasn't too fidgety. And until next time, later.